सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। Hari Om. So we are looking into this beautiful text called Vedanta Chintanam by Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda ji. The English translation for this is Living Vedanta. It is available as a published book with Chinmaya Prakashan, Chinmaya Vani Publications, online also, eshop.chinmayamission.com. For this and more books, it's available. The previous verse we saw was verse 19. Ishvara sarva bhutanam sarvada hridi vartate. Ishvara or Bhagavan, the controller of all human beings, the controller of all living beings, the inner controller, is in the heart of all beings. Hridi vartate. At all times. There is no time when Ishvara is not. Tad antaryami rupena. How is that Ishvara present in us? In the form of antaryami or inner controller. Sarva bhuta suhritaya. He is not only the controller and the manager within, but he is also our well-wisher. He wishes well for whatever we really need, whatever we aspire for. Sometimes even if it may not be so good for us, Ishvara grants it because our own well-being and welfare is of his prime concern. Ishvara is nothing but our own heart that feels for us, that strives for us, that really wants to give us what we really desire or go after. Sarva bhuta suhritaya. That Ishvara is the Suhrit, our well-wisher. Now what happens if we, after knowing about the existence and nature of God, I know about existence, I know about this life, I know that God is present within me as the Antaryami or the inner controller, and God is my well-wisher, Ishvara is my well-wisher. Now what should I do? Samoyam sarva bhuteshu nishpaksho jalameghavat tameva sharanam gatva shantim apnoti manavaha. So I know who is God, then what should I do? Tameva sharanam gatva. I fall flat at the feet of Ishvara. And what will I get? Shantim apnoti manavaha. All human beings who surrender to God, surrender to that principle which sustains us, which knows everything, omnipresent, present everywhere, omniscient, knows everything, omnipotent, capable of achieving anything in our life. That is that power. It is not a person, it is not a thing, it is not an object, it is not a situation, it is a presence. Surrender to that presence, manavaha. What will happen to me? Shantim apnoti. I will become calm. Whatever I need to achieve, I would be in that state of mind where I have achieved that. What is the nature of that Ishvara? Is that Ishvara partial to somebody? Is that Ishvara partial to me? Or partial to, we like to believe that God is partial. When we see, especially people whom we don't like, when we see them thrive in life, or people whom we believe are doing something wrong, when they're all getting good things in life, we tend to believe that Bhagavan, Ishvara is partial. But what does Ishvara say about himself? Samaha ayam sarva bhuteshu. This Ishvara is equal in all. Nishpakshaha. This Ishvara does not take any sides. He does not side with the Pandavas or with the Kauravas. Remember, it was a choice of Arjuna. Bhagavan did not take sides. When Arjuna and Duryodhana came to meet Bhagavan Shri Krishna before the war, Bhagavan Shri Krishna pretended to be sleeping, and Arjuna went at his feet, and Duryodhana, out of his arrogance, arrogance or ignorance, whatever it is, he was standing at the head of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and Bhagavan Shri Krishna was lying down with eyes closed. When you open the eyes, you will not naturally look up, but you will look at the feet. He saw Arjuna standing there, and Arjuna got the first batting opportunity. Krishna asked, "Yes, Arjuna, what do you want?" And then Duryodhana is coming from behind saying, "Krishna, I am also here." "Oh, I did not see you because you were standing above my head. But I saw Arjuna, so I will ask him first and then I will come to you. What is it you want?" "Krishna, we have come to you regarding the war." Krishna says, "I have my army, Narayana Sena, and I have myself. I am not going to fight. I am not going to take arms. So you can choose. Between the two of you, you can choose my army or you can choose me." I will ask the question first to Krishna, to Arjuna, because I saw him first. And Duryodhana was really very tense. He did not know what Arjuna is going to ask. What if Arjuna asked for the army? Duryodhana was very tense. But very surprisingly for Duryodhana, Arjuna said, "Krishna, I want you." And Duryodhana heaved a sigh of relief because he wanted Krishna's army. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna did not side with Arjuna. He gave the choice and Arjuna wanted him. Samaha ayam sarva bhuteshu. With all beings, all creatures, I am the same. It is just like the sunlight is not favoring the rich person. The sunlight is not favoring somebody who's learned. But somebody who's wise and who's learned, they keep the doors of their house, the windows of their house open very early in the morning to let in the sunlight. And somebody who is ignorant, who prefers a life of ignorance behind the bed sheet, covering and sleeping, he keeps the windows closed. And he says, "I get up these days very early." "And what time do you get up?" "I get up at 6 o'clock. And he says, "In the evening." "Then how come you say very early?" "That is the time I see the sun when it sets, because my window is facing the west." So such people are also there. They don't enjoy the benefit of the sunlight because they are not open to it. If we are open to God, we receive the presence of God. That much we are open, that much we receive it. Samoyam sarva bhuteshu nishpakshaha. Ishvara is without any paksha. He does not take sides. He or it, whatever you may call, it is a power. That power does not take sides. Jala meghavat. Like the rain clouds, the rain cloud does not pour like a shower on one person's head. Maybe somebody is a good person, I will rain for him. Somebody is an evildoer, I will withdraw my powers from him. The rain cloud does not decide this way and pour. It just pours freely all that it has. Whoever is beneath that rain cloud gets the rain. Tameva sharanam gatva. After having fallen at the feet of such an Ishvara, an Ishvara is a very divine person who has got divine qualities, manifested divine qualities. Gatva shantim apnoti manavaha. Human beings can attain peace of mind. 21st verse. Ishwareච්ඡातिरिक्ता मे मा भूयात् कामना कदा एषा मतिर्हि भक्तस्य शरणागतिरिष्यते. The previous verse says Sharanagati, go to the feet of Ishvara. So now this verse explains what is Sharanagati. Sharanagati is Ishvara Ichcha Atirikta Me Ma Bhuyat Kamana Kada. At any point of time, may I not have a desire which is beyond or which is not in the scope of desire of Ishvara. Well, how do we know what is the desire of Ishvara? All the Dharma Shastras, the texts of what we should do and what we should avoid, speaks about the desire of Ishvara. So when we follow a life of Dharma, then we are functioning within the desire of Ishvara. Ishvara Ichcha Atirikta. Beyond the desire of Ishvara, may I not have any other desire. Kamana kada. Esha matirhi bhaktasya sharanagatihi ishyate. The devotee of Bhagavan, the devotee means the one who votes for Ishvara, the one who votes for truth, the one who votes for goodness, the one who votes for purity, the one who votes for cleanliness, the one who votes for all these divine qualities together, not at the exclusion of any other quality, but all divinity together, is a devotee of Ishvara. And when that devotee has only the desire of Ishvara as his desire, and if he has such a mind, may I not have any other desire that Bhagavan does not have. Meaning, may my will be in tune with the will of this universe. May the universal good be my desire to do in this world. Whether it is going to a place or whether it is visiting a person, being in the presence of somebody, doing some action, eating something, or sleeping for a long period of time, whatever it may be, whatever the desire may it be in tune with the common good. Common good means my best interest, the interest of my good health, my developing my intelligence, my strength, my power, and developing the intelligence, strength, power, goodness for all my family and of society. So common good. Esha matihi bhaktasya sharanagati ishyate. So very beautifully, Sharanagati has been explained in 2 verses. Like, thy will be done, not mine, not mine. Even in the Alcoholics Anonymous 12-point program, the 12th point is a very beautiful point where it says, it's a prayer, may I have the knowledge of what you think of what I should do. And this is a prayer when we think in this manner, when we pray to Ishvara in this manner, that we may get the knowledge of not what all Ishvara knows or what all the powers that he has. No. What should I do this moment? That knowledge of what you have in your mind, oh Lord, may I know. The 22nd verse, Brahmana sarva bhutani pratibhanti sthitani cha tasminne valayam yanti sarva vedanta nishchayaham. After dealing with the topic of the experience of the world, there is a jiva. The jiva is that devout individual, a bhakta, who is relating to Ishvara, the creator of this world. Now, when we know Ishvara, when we are devoted to Ishvara, what does Ishvara do to us? He gives us the knowledge of the truth. So we come to the knowledge of this world. What does Vedanta say about this experienced world, Jagat? Brahmanaha sarvabhutani pratibhanti sthitani cha. It is from Brahman that all beings, sarvabhutani, pratibhanti, they appear, meaning they are born. Sthitani, they exist. And tasmin eva layam yanti. In that Brahman alone, everything merges. The wave rises from the ocean, exists in the ocean, and merges into the ocean. Sarva Vedanta Nishchayaha. This is the confirmed opinion of all the texts of Vedanta. What does Vedanta say? The Upanishads say this whole world, Sarva Bhutani, all living beings, come from Brahman, stay in Brahman, and merge with Brahman. So, what of that now? In what way is that knowledge going to help me? Being a part of this whole, am I also an appearance? What is my truth? So, the whole world of beings are born in Brahman, live in Brahman, and merge into Brahman. Then, who am I? I am also part of one of the living being in this whole scope of this universe. What happens to me? आत्मरूपेण तद् ब्रह्म सर्वभूतहृदि स्थितम् गूढभावोऽस्य शास्त्रस्य ज्ञातव्यश्च मुमुक्षुभिः आत्मरूपेण तद् ब्रह्म सर्वभूतहृदि स्थितम्. That all the living beings are born in Brahman, they sustain themselves in Brahman, and they merge back into Brahman. When we say all living beings, I am also living being. That life is I. I am born in Brahman. I sustain myself in Brahman, and I merge back into Brahman. Sarva Bhuta Hridi Sthitam. Where is that Brahman? That Brahma is in all beings, in the heart of all beings. It is in my heart also. I am in Brahman. I arise in Brahman. I am sustained in Brahman, and I merge back into Brahman. Gudha bhavaha asya shastrasya jnatavyascha mumukshubhihi. This Shastra or this Vedanta, Gudha bhavaha, the deep import of all living beings rise in Brahman, stay in Brahman, and merge with Brahman. The Gudha bhavaha, or the deep import of that is, I am born from Brahman, I am sustained in Brahman, and I merge back into Brahman. Jnatavyascha. So who should know this? Mumukshubhihi, the one who seeks after liberation, the one who seeks after truth, the one who seeks after that supreme knowledge should know this reality, this truth. Idam jagad vastutascha brahma bhinnam na siddhyati tathaiva chatma bhinnam va brahmatmaikya prabodhanat. The previous verse, the previous two verses say the living beings rise from Brahman, stay in Brahman, merge in Brahman. I, the self, also rise in Brahman, stay in Brahman, merge in Brahman. Idam jagat vastutascha. This whole world in reality, Brahma bhinnam na siddhyati. This whole world is not different from Brahman. Tathaiva cha atma bhinnam va. It is not different from me also. It is not different from Brahman also. It is not different from Brahman. It is not different from me. So how do I know this? Brahma, Atma, Aikya Prabodhanat. How do I come to this conclusion? This Brahma from which I say I arise or the world arises. This Brahma from which the world is sustained and I am sustained. This Brahma, into which all the living beings of the world merge back and I too merge back, is not different from me. Brahma, Atma, Aikya, Prabodhanat. I am awake to this knowledge that this Brahman and I, this Brahman from which the living beings arise, and I from which Brahman I too arise, are not two different things. I am that Brahman. Jagat vastutascha Brahma Bhinnam na siddhyati. So in reality, this whole world of living beings is not different from Brahman. The 25th verse is coming from this Yajurveda Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmeti Vijnanat Katham me Jagato Bhayam Dvitiyat hi Bhayam Bhuyat Sarva Vedanta Ghoshitam. Sarva Vedanta Ghoshitam. All Vedanta is crying out aloud. Aham Brahma iti Vijnanat Katham me Jagato Bhayam. When I know I am Brahman, how will I be afraid of this Jagat? How will I be afraid of all the other living beings in this universe? Whatever it may be, Jagataha Bhayam Katham, how will I have fear? Why the duality gives me fear, we know, is because Vedanta says, Vedanta Ghoshitam, Vedanta shouts from the rooftop, Dvitiyadhi Bhayam Bhuyat. I am experiencing fear because of duality, because of the presence of the other. Now in this room, if I enter into this dark room at night and I may go even close to that flag fluttering, I may be afraid if there is something else. If I don't know it is a flag or it is a peacock feathers and they just brush past me, I may be wondering and I may get scared because I don't see only myself in this place. I see something else other than me. Life, the presence of life other than me. Bhuyat Sarva Vedanta Ghoshita. Even if it's inert objects, inanimate objects, we don't get scared because we know that they don't have life and they can't move. But even if it's an inanimate object, if it has movement, we superimpose the presence of life in that and then we experience the difference. Vitiyadhi bhayam bhuyat sarva vedanta ghoshitam. Aham brahma iti vijnanat katham me jagato bhayam. How will I get fear from this world? Because I know that I am that Brahman from which all life originates in this universe is I. How will I be afraid of anything in this world? Puja Guruji here says very beautifully, the likes, dislikes, fear and so on are caused not by the experience of the world, but due to the notion that the world is different from me. It is because of the thought that I have that the world is different, that I am experiencing all these likes and dislikes. Therefore, Vedanta does not insist upon the non-perception of the world or attainment of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is where I don't realize anything around me and I am absorbed in that truth within or whatever I understand of the truth within. And I'm completely absorbed. It is like that state of sleep, especially this is a sitting sleep where I am in that state of bliss, absorbed in that. It is not Nirvikalpa Samadhi, but on realization of the truth that I am that truth and the world is not different from me. So that is the import of Vedanta. Anandam Brahmano Vidwan na bibheti kutaschanam Brahma vichapi bhavati Brahmaiva nahi samshayah. the yukti, the examples from life and experience of realized masters, anubhuti, were narrated so far to make the truth real, make the experience the truth real. Now the Upanishads are also quoted to validate this knowledge. The Upanishad says, Anandam Brahmano Vidban Nabibheti Kutaschaneti. Taittiriya Upanishad. Anandam Brahmano Vidvan Nabibheti Kadachaneti. Both these are from Taittiriya Upanishad, this second chapter. Anandam Brahmano Vidvan Na Bibheti Kutaschana. Anandam Brahma. When the Vidwan, the knower of the truth, knows that bliss is Brahman, Ananda is that Brahman from which life springs. Ananda is Brahman from which life springs of this universe, all the living beings in the universe. Ananda is that Brahman from which life springs in me. Brahman, Vidwan, na bibheti kutaschana. So such a person who realizes this, is not afraid at all, because I have sprung from joy. I am joy. I am bliss. I am born as bliss. I exist as bliss, and I merge into bliss. Kutaschana na bibheti. There is no fear. This is what the knowledge of the truth gives us. It gives us utter fearlessness. Brahmavit chapi bhavati. Such a person, Brahmavit, one who knows this is Brahmavit. Brahmaiva nahi samshayaha. He is that Brahman. The one who knows this Brahman remains as Brahman. There is no doubt in this. There is no, if at all we get to experience that at some point of time, we don't need to have a doubt about it. Why? Not because we are experiencing and we are thinking, but the Shrutis have told this. The Acharyas and the Gurus, the Guru Parampara has been saying this from time immemorial. Brahmavit, Brahmaiva Bhavati. The one who knows this Brahman remains as Brahman. Evam Vedanta Jnanasya Nityam Abhyasa Yogataha Shreyah Paramavapnoti Sarva Bhavena Sadhakaha. Evam. This is the Vedanta Jnana. This is the knowledge of Vedanta. This is the knowledge of that takes us to the end of knowing. What is the end of knowing? The end of knowing is to know the knower. Who is the knower? The Atman, the self, the Brahman. Evam Vedanta Jnanasya Nityam Abhyasa Yogataha. Always practice this. Abhyasa Yoga means, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, that is a way to quieten the mind. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. In chapter 6. Abhyasa Yoga means unite the mind with practice. What practice? That Brahman from which all living beings in this universe spring up, that Brahman from which I as a life spring, is that Brahman which is the same. It is me and nothing else. And that Brahman is bliss. Evam Vedanta Jnanasya Nityam Abhyasa. Constantly. Nityam means eternally, not daily, but all the time. Nityam Abhyasa Yogataha Shreyaha Param Avapnoti. Such a person attains supreme Shreyas. Sarva Bhavena Sadhakaha. In all means, the sadhaka, the one who practices this, attains the best position in life, the best state in life, well-being, physical well-being, emotional well-being, mental well-being, intellectual well-being. Everything is attained by this sadhana of Brahma Bhava. By realizing this truth, knowing the truth, practicing this truth, and reveling and being in this truth. The last verse concludes again. It began with Sri Ramachandra. The last verse concludes with an offering to Bhagwan Sri Ramachandra and a prayer to the Guru. Shri Ramachandrasya Kripa Prasadat Vedanta Chintana Parakritiryaam Samarpayetam Padaravindayoho Bhuyat Prasanna Shri Ramo Guruscha. Shri Ramachandrasya Kripa Prasadat, by the grace of Bhagavan Shri Ramachandra, Kripa, the compassion, Vedanta Chintana Parakritirya, I have engaged in this thought process of Vedanta Chintanam. Para means that supreme, the supreme composition. Samarpayetam, I offer this composition, Padaravindayoho, at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Rama, Bhuyat Prasannaha, may that Bhagavan be invoked in me, Bhagavan Sri Rama be present in me and bless me, may Sri Guru also bless me. That consciousness, that Guru, the lotus feet of the Guru, may I be blessed by the Guru. Because all this Vedanta knowledge, it may be very easy to understand. It looks very simple. That life is the same as this life, and that life is also sprung from Brahman. This life is also sprung from Brahman. I am that Brahman is bliss, and I am bliss. It is very easily said, and it may be easy to understand. But the actual test of this knowledge comes in our day-to-day practice when we meet people around us whom we may not like so much for many reasons. And at that time, to apply this knowledge and say that that person and me are one, that is Brahman, I am Brahman, there is no difference between the two, is very, very difficult. For which we need to accept that knowledge completely. We need the grace of Ishvara, the grace of Guru. Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhaktaha Samsarat Yachirat Bhava Muktaha. Samsarat Achirat Bhava Muktaha. Guru Charana Ambuja. When I pray to the Guru removes me from samsara, Achirat. Meaning, how do I get out of samsara? By being firm in this knowledge, by being unshakable in this knowledge of Vedanta, that this whole life in this whole world springs from Brahman. That life, I also am that life which has sprung from Brahman, and I am that Brahman, and that Brahman is nothing but Ananda or bliss. To get this knowledge and to abide in this knowledge, I need the blessings of Ishvara, that omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent Ishvara, and Guru in the form of the master who guides us, or anybody whom you revere in life who has given you this knowledge of Vedanta is your Sat Guru. May that Guru and Bhagavan Sri Rama bless us that we may abide in this knowledge of Vedanta Chintanam. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Boli Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai. Har Namah Parvati Pataye. हर हर महादेव. हरि ओम.